It's too late for a
Ascent! Let him have it, Mac.
Sonic Frontiers has done the impossible. And when I say that, I mean, before I even get a chance to play it, and before it is officially released, it has become my favorite Sonic game. Yes, I am well aware that this is a bold statement to make, but I just showed you a montage of bold statements I've made in the past regarding this game, so this shouldn't really be that out of the blue, but the fact that I've already acknowledged that this game is better than Sonic Adventure or Sonic Adventure 2 to me before I even get a chance to play it is pretty insane. These are two games that I've always loved since the moment I got a chance to play them, and now, just by looking at gameplay and hearing reviews about Sonic Frontiers, it's already captivated me to the point where it's my favorite Sonic game. I have made videos in the past talking about 5 things that I love about Sonic Frontiers, or something along those lines, but in those videos I failed to address the simple fact that this is a game that I felt like I've always wanted, but just didn't know. Like it or not, this begins a whole new era of Sonic the Hedgehog, and personally, I love it. Everything they're doing with Sonic Frontiers is exactly what I want to see from this franchise going forward. The tonal direction, the characters, the voice work, the story, and of course, what's probably most important, the gameplay, everything here is just so good to me. I know I've said this in videos prior, but I've wanted Sonic the Hedgehog to go back to being this climactic franchise that always had these amazing epic moments, and I'm already getting that feeling from Kronos Island, the first island in Frontiers, than any point of Sonic Forces, even the climax. And I use Sonic Forces here as an example because this was the game that tried to do that. It tried to be that climactic game that we hadn't seen in a while, and you can tell this just by the box art of the game. And also, it was the most recent mainline Sonic game. But that aside, Frontiers is doing something unlike anything I've actually been alive to see from a Sonic the Hedgehog game. Mind you, I wasn't alive during the release of Sonic Adventure or Adventure 2. I was alive for Unleashed, but I really wasn't that into the development of the game, or even the general release of the game. I knew it came out, but I didn't know when, or I didn't get it at launch or anything like that. I got it, several months after the fact, or maybe even years after the fact. And mind you, during that time, I was still a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan. I may not have followed closely to the release dates of certain games, but I was always there supporting this franchise with everything I had. I feel like this also can be true for many other people, and also it's important to realize that a lot of new fans got in love with this series because of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And with that in mind, this is the first blockbuster title that Sonic the Hedgehog has released after the Sonic movie. This is important to realize because this is a statement that's being made here. Sega no longer wants to meet the status quo for releasing Sonic the Hedgehog games. They want to exceed expectations. They want to bring in a new era for this franchise that is somewhat familiar to older fans, but will be a new journey for those who are actually getting into the franchise now. And I kid you not, for as long as I was a fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, I have never been more hyped for a release from it than I am for Sonic Frontiers. The funniest thing about Frontiers to me has to be the marketing for this game, and I mean that in more of a positive way than a negative. Now, in the beginning, it started off as something that was really bothersome to many people, including myself, whereas they weren't really giving us that much information about the game. But now we've hit a point in the marketing where we know a lot about it, but there's still a ton that we don't know, and that's what makes me really excited, because I'm really looking forward to being able to find out new secrets and all sorts of different things about this game while playing it in my first playthrough. Yes, there have been bits and pieces of this game that has been leaked, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I have not watched a second of leaked footage, and I say that happily because I'm someone who normally does not care about leaks, but when it came to Sonic Frontiers, it was a totally different story. If possible, I want my experience for this game to be completely jaw-dropping at every turn. I want to know as little information as possible at this point, that way everything I know about the game will be first-hand experience. Anyway, I feel like I've made myself pretty clear in the fact that from the moment this game was announced and we got actual trailers of it, I've been someone who's been pretty optimistic about it. I always thought the game was going to be good, but when we got more information, there were a couple things that made me less confident in it, and that was admittedly the cyberspace levels. Now, When we first found out that they were going to be like remixed versions of previous levels, it's something that I honestly wouldn't have noticed on my own, but the fact that it was relentlessly pointed out on Twitter and other social media platforms, it did also begin to bother me. However, as I've seen more and more gameplay footage, it seems like more of a cool thing than it is a bad thing. To me, it looks like a lot of the stages seem to be like adventure era stages, and they're being remixed in such a way where they're like, you have to use the boost in them. And also, it's like in Green Hill, Chemical Plant, or somewhere else. And it makes me super excited because it's taking something we already knew about this franchise and twisting it and turning it into something completely new. And I find that to be super cool. Sort of like how Sonic Generations did, but a bit differently. I personally don't think the cyberspace stages are considered lazy, but I also do understand the complaints behind them. The game to its entirety is not even going to be focused on them anyway, and honestly, when I think about Sonic Frontiers, I do forget that they're there sometimes. I think about the open world setting and the characters and the story. Not to say that the cyberspace is not important, because I think it will be, especially if you want to collect the Chaos Emeralds and be supersonic, but to me, it's not my main focus. It's not the reason why I'm so invested in this game. Certainly, it helps, but I really love it because of the open world setting and being able to do and go anywhere as I want to as Sonic at almost any point in time. Before I kind of close out in this video, I want to make it clear that I think that Sonic Frontiers is now going to be the magnum opus for the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. I think that this game will be the one that I feel like Sega will continue to go off of for many years to come. And honestly, I think that's a great idea. I think Frontiers gives this series the direction that it really needs to have. It gives it kind of like a jumping off point, and I think for future games, they can definitely use this game as a model and build off it in ways we've never seen before. Sonic Frontiers has become my favorite Sonic game because I was with this game from the very moment it's been announced and following it very closely ever since it was announced. And with that in mind, I always thought the game was going to be so fun, and to see that dream become reality has been super exciting for me. And to know that this game is going to ring in a new era for Sonic the Hedgehog has me overjoyed. This is why Sonic Frontiers has become my favorite Sonic game, and I cannot wait to play it. I hope you guys have enjoyed my pre-launch coverage of Sonic Frontiers, and I know this won't be the last video I make of Sonic Frontiers before the game comes out, but it will be one of them, and I really hope that you guys enjoyed me covering the game and have, gained a better insight on what the game is going to be like, and maybe I've shifted your mindset to be more positive if it was negative before. I don't know, but I've really enjoyed talking about it, and I will continue talking about it going forward. Even after the game is released, there will be plenty of videos of me just talking about it, because this, again, is my favorite Sonic game now. That said, I want to take the time to shout out my legendary channel members. Thank you all again so very much for supporting me and my channel and creating the best possible content that I can create. Videos like these and this whole Sonic Frontiers coverage would not be possible without you. Y'all are truly the best, and I praise the Lord for y'all every single day. If you want to become a member of my channel, there'll be a link in the description down below. But if you want to support through other means, I have a merch store, and you guys can check out all sorts of Sonic's swag, whether it be hoodies, hats, t-shirts, you name it, we got it. The link will be in the description for that as well. Anyway, thank you all again so much for watching. This is Sonic signing out. Have a super blessed day, y'all.
Why are you playing that trash?